ain't shook one. I think she's going to be the shocker. She's going to have an incredible...
This is the L2 Media Network on YouTube, and this is Sports Finals Saturday night. And with the latest headlines that make the details of a wild weekend Saturday of sports, here's our buddy Steve Baxter. Baxman? Hey, hi, how are you? Good evening, welcome. What can we tell you except happy Saturday, everybody? So, what's going on? Well, we got some breaking news for you, and for Lions fans, I got nothing to say wrong about it. But big news for Lions fans. The Matthew Stafford era has left the building. He has been traded, but not to the Bears. No, sir. He has been traded to the Los Angeles Rams. That is our top story. So top, in fact, we're not going to be doing a Baxalog tonight. No, sir. We will be doing that tomorrow at midnight when we reconvene. But right now, we got some, this is big time news. So let's get to it. And this is right off the old press, kids. Let's hit you up. Matthew Stafford has only ever played. Hi there. Can we have no problems with the teleprompt? Matthew Stafford has only ever played for the Detroit Lions until now. In a blockbuster trade, we're not talking video, we're talking Major League blockbuster. Los Angeles Rams in exchange for Rams' first-round draft picks in 2022, 2023, and a third-round pick in this year's NFL draft. Plus, here's the cherry on top of it. They get semi-disgruntled quarterback Jared Goff. Jason La Canfora, CBS Sports NFL Insider, confirmed what others have heard. Now, Stafford and the Lions mutually agreed to part ways earlier in the week, with the team moving in a new direction under new general manager Brad Holmes, who until earlier this offseason was the Rams' director of college scouting. And I wish we had our bell. There it is. Thank you, Mom, for your attempt. I give you A+. There we go. There's the bell, signifying, see where this idea came from? Now, and head coach Dan Campbell. Stafford heads to a ready-made contender in the Rams, who already have one of the NFL's best defenses for several seasons, and they had previously been one of the league's most explosive offenses before Goff's backslide over the past 2 years. Stafford will get to work in an offensive system that has been friendly to quarterbacks behind an offensive line that excels in pass protection, and with quality pass catchers in Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee, Gerald Everett, and Van Jefferson. Goff, meanwhile, will head to a rebuilding Lions team, and he may not be long for Detroit given his contract situation. Now, the Rams signed Goff to a 4-year, $130 million contract extension after his third NFL season and take a significant dead money hit onto their books after making this deal. Goff will count for $22.2 million on LA's books in 2021 while he is playing for Detroit, while the Rams inherit the 2-year, $43 million remaining on Stafford's contract. Similarly, Stafford will count for $17.8 million on the Lions' books in 2021, and Detroit will inherit the 4 years and $106.6 million remaining on Goff's deal. Now, crucially, though, there is no guarantee money left on Goff's contract, so the Lions will be able to move on from him after this season if they so choose. Now, the Rams, after trading for Stafford, will go 7 consecutive seasons without making a first-round pick. They traded their 2016 and 2017 first to move up to Goff in the 2016 draft. They traded their 2018 first for wide receiver Brandon Crooks, their 20 first rounder, to the Falcons for second and third round picks, and their 2020 and 2021 first rounders to the Jaguars for Jalen Ramsey. Stafford then better be worth the price, because the Rams have continued mortgaging their future to find success in the near term. Stafford, who spent a decade in Detroit, departs as the Lions' all-time leader in completions, passing yardage, passing touchdowns, and quarterback wins, took the franchise to 3 playoff games in his tenure. But again, we are talking the Lions, and they just failed to win any of those 3. The Rams will be counting on him having much greater success in LA than he did in Detroit. They have the roster to set him up for that success, having made the playoffs in 3 of 4 seasons under Sean McVay and advancing to the Super Bowl in 2018 before ultimately falling to the once mighty New England Patriots. Now, Goff's struggles over the past 2 seasons led to the team taking a step backward, missing the playoffs in 2019, and then the first round in 2020. That backslide spurred interest in finding a way to move on and upgrade from Goff, which they accomplished with this trade. Now, for Goff, it's an unceremonious end to his tenure with the Rams. He struggled badly in 2019 and parts of 2020 and was not named the starter for a team's wildcard game, despite feeling he was healthy enough to play just weeks after breaking his thumb. Goff eventually entered the game due to an injury to starter John Wolford, but was unable to lead the Rams to a victory over the Green Bay Packers. I am not kidding. Now, just 2 seasons removed from taking his team to the Super Bowl, he's been traded away and seen his team pay a significant premium to get someone else under center. He'll have a chance to reestablish himself in Detroit under Campbell and new offensive coordinator Anthony Lynn. But with the team clearly entering the early stages of a major rebuild and his contract an onerous one, he'll have to take a significant step forward to carve out a place in the team's long-term plans. Otherwise, he may find himself out on the open market following next. Good luck, Mr. Goff. Welcome to Detroit. We hope you get to stay long. All right. That was, believe it or not, a huge, big news. And in golf, let's go for more headlines here. Golf, folks. Here we go. You're going to love it. Patrick Reed, who never seemed short on controversy, found it once again on Saturday. Thank you very much. During the 3rd round of the Farmers Insurance Open on the par 4 10th hole, when he removed his ball from an embedded lie and took a free drop. Now, the 10th was part of a roller coaster 18 in which Reed shot 70, and it's tied for lead going into Sunday's final round. After a second shot on the par 4 10th hole bounded off to the left side of the hole in the thick rough, well, Reed walked towards it, bent over, and picked it up. He claimed that it was embedded, even though video evidence showed that it took a bounce after it first landed and jumped no more than 3 feet back up in the air. For it to be embedded, the ground would have had to have been insanely wet. Now, Reed said after his round, nobody in his group nor the volunteers standing near the ball saw it bounce, so he was checking to see if it had broken the plane of the ground. After moving it, Reed called the rules official over and had him stick his fingers in the pitch mark. The official, clearly surprised Reed had already moved the ball, confirmed that there was indeed a lip where Reed's ball first came to rest, and deemed that Reed was correct to remove the embedded ball from there. Reed went on to get a drop and got up and down for par. Now, Reed was shocked that the post-round video showed that the ball had bounced and confirmed that it's almost impossible for a ball to plug or embed if it bounces at all. That begs a lot of questions, not the least of which is what lip he and the rules official were feeling if it's almost impossible ball to plug when it bounces. Reed confirmed that the rules official told him that everything was done perfectly, and it was a textbook handling of a very, very rocky situation. He also seemed to pass off blame onto the volunteer who never saw the ball bounce, as well as a rules official who confirmed the embed. If it was an attempt to see how much leeway the rules official would give him, he wouldn't be the first one to do this. It was a successful one. Reed said he would not have done anything differently, and in fact holds himself as a model for what players on the PGA Tour should do in situations like these. The whole thing was questionable for somebody who's never had a run-in with the rules. For Reed, it borders on the indefensible, and the more he talked after the round, the worse it seemed to get. Following the ha-ha at the 10th, Reed made 4 bogeys in his next 6 holes before a birdie at the last got him at 10 under and tied for lead going into tomorrow's final round. All right, let's keep on with the headlines. Then we got some scores for you and a whole lot more. All right, let's kick this one going. And I mean kick it. All right, when the Brooklyn Nets swung the blockbuster trade to acquire James Harden earlier this month, they gave up 4 players in the process: Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, Taurean Prince, and Rodions Kurucs, which left them with only 13 players on the active roster. While that was okay in the immediate aftermath of the deal, the league requires teams to have at least 14 players, which meant the Nets eventually had to sign someone. First, they signed big man Norvel Pele to help address the lack of front court depth. Now they reportedly are set to add veteran guard Iman Shumpert, according to Shams Charania of The Athletic. Shumpert, 30 years old, actually last played in the NBA with the Nets, suiting up for 13 games off the bench with the team last season before he was waived. He went unsigned this offseason and spent the interim working out in hopes of a new opportunity, which has now arrived. Now, this might not be the most exciting move, but it's easy to see why the Nets were interested in Shumpert. Between Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving, they have 3 of the most talented scorers in the league and have no trouble putting up points. In fact, in their last game, they dropped a whopping 147 points on the Oklahoma City Thunder. But as great as their offense is, their defense was equally as bad. Since Harden's debut, they have the 27th ranked defense in the league and are allowing 116.1 points per 100 possessions. Shumpert isn't going to come in and solve all the problems, but he's made his name on the defensive end and can guard multiple positions on the perimeter. Even if he never becomes a major part of the rotation, he's at least got another option for Coach Steve Nash to try out when they can't get steps or stops or scoops.
It's got me all kinds of messed up. Yeah, she looks the part. She takes the stage with such confidence, and I just subscribe to the shit.
Alrighty.
I don't know why.
Let's keep going here. And now we go to our Super Bowl trip into the NFL. And the big question everybody has to ask will be answered. Tom Brady can cash in if he leads Tampa Bay Buccaneers to hi there. To their second Super Bowl title on a contract incentive, the franchise will have no problem paying if he can beat the Kansas City Chiefs. A Super Bowl victory for Tampa Bay will pay Brady an additional $500,000, $500,000 for leading the Bucs to the championship. This per Now, Brady has already cashed in this postseason. The first Super Bowl appearance Brady has made in which he started the postseason in the wild card round. Brady earned $500,000 for making the playoffs and an extra $250,000 for winning a playoff game. He earned an extra $500,000 for making the NFC Championship game and an extra $500,000 for reaching the Super Bowl. In total, Brady has made $1.75 million this postseason and can earn up to $2.25 million if he wins the Super Bowl. Has to play 75% of the snaps, however, in each game for the incentive. Now, the Bucs quarterback also earned $1.125 million in contract incentives. I'm having a hard time speaking. During the regular season for finishing in the top 5 in passing touchdowns and passing yards, $562,500 in each category. He also has a $10 million roster bonus that's fully guaranteed on the 5th league day of the 2021 season. Brady is going to be the first quarterback to start in the Super Bowl in 3 different decades, 2000, 2010, 2020. And Super Bowl 55 will be his 10th Super Bowl appearance, the most for any quarterback in the NFL history. Brady is also the NFL all-time leader in Super Bowl completions with 256, passing touchdowns with 18, and passing yards with 2,838. A Super Bowl victory will make Brady just the second quarterback to win 2 Super Bowl championships with 2 different teams. Peyton Manning was the other one. And it will pay him a nice contract bonus along the way. And by the way, you can catch Super Bowl 55 exclusively on CBS. And if you speak Espanol, you'll be able to watch it on ESPN Deportes. And wowzers. We go wowzers more and more, kids. Here we go. Ready, set, boom. All right. Whoa. Okay, we got some boxing to talk about, and then that'll be our halftime show. Yeah, my mom's watching The Masked Singer. Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to tone it down a bit. And we'll get back to programming after this sportscast. Now we can do this. Well, we had a nice little boxing title tonight in the Premier Boxing Championship. Unbeaten super middleweight title holder Caleb Plant went largely untouched on Sunday in pitching a shutout against former champion Caleb Trudeau. Whether or not that was enough to attract pound-for-pound king Canelo Alvarez into a fall unification bout remains to be seen. Plant, who's 21-0, 12 knockouts, relied on speed and combinations to box circles around the 37-year-old Truax, 31-5-2, 19 knockouts, in the third defense of his IBF title. All 3 judges inside the Shrine Exposition Center in Los Angeles scored at 120-108 in favor of Plant. So that was fun on the PBC on Fox. Plant, who's 28, was never bothered by Trudeau, despite the veteran finally figuring out a way to land a smattering of counter right hands over the final third of the fight. As the action slowed, Plant overwhelmed his foe with volume and went on to outland Trudeau 179-147, according to CompuBox, including a margin of 124-49 in power shots. Trudeau formerly held the IBF title in 2017, when he traveled to London to upset James DeGale via majority decision before losing the rematch 5 months later. The native of Minnesota, who was stopped by Daniel Jacobs in his only other attempt at a world title in 2015, lacked the power to give Plant any trouble and the speed to make a dent on the scorecards. Although Plant never called out Alvarez by name, he reiterated his hope of landing a fight against the Mexican superstar during his post-fight interview. Alvarez, who's 30, holds the WBC and WBA titles at 168 pounds, recently signed a 2-fight deal with Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Sport that covers a mandatory title defense against Avni Vildrum in February and a possible unification bout with unbeaten WBO champion Billy Joe Saunders in May. Given Alvarez's stated mission of unifying all 4 titles, Plant's belt would be the missing link that makes a fight between the two possible for September. Man, if you realize if he does that, I think he'll be the first person to ever unify almost all the belts. It's fun to see. That is going to be a pay-per-view bonanza, whoever gets it. Finally, in our headlines, let's give this a little shoop-doop. Okay. Not much. Less than 4 years ago, Dennis Smith Jr. was the number 9 overall pick in the 2017 NBA draft. But after a fairly promising rookie season with the Dallas Mavericks, Smith was dealt to the New York Knicks as part of the Kristaps Porzingis trade. Never really found this place at Madison Square Garden. This season, under new head coach Tom Thibodeau, Smith has truly struggled with injuries and found himself on the periphery of the team, playing just 28 minutes over 3 games so far. As a result, he's asked the team reportedly to allow him to play in the G League bubble next month, according to New York Daily News reporter Stefan Bonde. Yes. In order to complete some semblance of the season, the G League is set to take advantage of the bubble setup that the NBA used at Disney World. 18 teams, including the next G League squad, the Westchester Knicks, will travel to Florida to play a 15-game season that tips off in mid-February. Now, while it takes a bit of bravery and honest self-reflection to ask to be sent down to the G Leagues, this is a smart decision by Smith. He barely played for the Knicks and doesn't seem to have a clear path towards regular minutes, especially not after rookie guard Emmanuel Quickley's brilliant start. Now, in the bubble, he'll not only have a chance to actually play some meaningful basketball again, but also an opportunity to perhaps impress another team ahead of his impending free agency this summer. His rookie deal ends after this season, and it seems unlikely he will be back in New York given how things have gone. Good luck, and may God be with you. Scusa. Okay, and speaking of basketball, shall we? We shall. Yes, we truly shall. It's time to give you a little bit of joy, rapture, and basketball. That's right. It's time for the college. It's time for men's basketball. Then we go to the ladies, and then we do what we can for the rest of our broadcast. Oh, wait, it's midnight in the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and bounce the obviousness. Okay. Let's get to very super packed, we hope, Saturday of college basketball. And we say that with all due respect. Yeah, like I said, we say things out of due respect. So as we await for the positioning of the moon, there we are. Okay, we want to remind you that all of our scores on the old scoreboard are presented by William here. Are presented by William Hill Sportsbooks, who remind you to bet responsibly. And if you think you may have a gambling problem, call 1-800-270-7177. That's 1-800-270-7177. William Hill Sportsbooks. Bet on yourself. And let's get to the games people play. The NCAA men's basketball. Number 1 ranked Gonzaga has once again scared the critics, 17-0. They made good on their threat to go undefeated for the rest of the season by beating Pepperdine 97-75. In the SEC Big 12 Challenge, it was number 2 ranked Baylor over Auburn, 84-72. Number 3 ranked Villanova, an 80-72 winner over Seton Hall. 20th ranked Virginia Tech, a 65-51 winner over the 8th ranked Virginia. Number 24, Oklahoma, 66-61 win over number 9 ranked Alabama. In the SEC Big 12 Challenge, 10th ranked Texas Tech is 76-71 winner over LSU. Also in that same challenge, it was unranked Florida over 11th ranked West Virginia, 85-80. In overtime, number 12 ranked Missouri beat TCU 102-98. Penn State beat 14th ranked Wisconsin 81-71. 18th ranked Tennessee over 15th ranked Kansas 80-61. Georgia Tech defeated 16th ranked Florida State 76-65. 17th ranked Creighton defeated DePaul 69-62. Purdue beat 21 ranked Minnesota 81-62. 23rd ranked UCLA, a 57-52 winner over Oregon State. Indiana, number 4 ranked Michigan, postponed. 5th ranked Texas, University of Kentucky, their SEC Big 12 Challenge game was canceled. 25th Boston College and 25th ranked Louisville were postponed. And that is that for the guys. Now you're probably saying to yourself, yeah, but how about the other half of the equation? How about the NCAA women? Well, they're coming up right now. And I don't think we have to mention that the scoreboard is sponsored by William Hill Sportsbooks. I'll remind you to bet on yourself and to bet responsibly. And if you have any gambling problems, call 1-800-270-7177. 1-800-270-7177. All right, let's have a bit of Saturday action in the hoops of college. Let's go to the ladies. There should be some great action there, we hope. There should be. 18th ranked Gonzaga, 79-52 winner over St. Mary. 24th ranked West Virginia, 79-70 winner over TCU. Cincinnati and 13th ranked South Florida were postponed. 25th ranked South Dakota State and Denver were canceled. That is the ladies' side of things. That's right. That's the ladies. That's all there is for ladies. Wow. Leave us now. Go from college to the pros. It's time to check the NBA. Fa la 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 la. Fa la 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 la. It's time for the NBA. Let's pick up where things have sorely been mistaken. And let's get you some scores of games that have gone final and games that are still going on. And with 6:24 left to play, 5 minutes, 4:46 left to play. Golden State Warriors are handing Pistons their butts on a silver platter. They lead the Pistons 111-83. Final scores on the road, it was the Portland Trail Blazers beating the Chicago Bulls 123-122. Houston Rockets over the New Orleans Pelicans 126-112. Charlotte Hornets over the Milwaukee Bucks 126-114. Miami Heat over the Sacramento Kings 105-104. Los Angeles Lakers beat the Boston Celtics 96-95. Grizzlies over the Spurs 129-112. Suns over the Mavericks 111-105. That is that for the once again, for those that didn't hear, Warriors 111.
I heard wrong.
111-83, Golden State over the Pistons.
83 to 111?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Of course, game covered on what will soon become Bally Sports Detroit. But as is the rules, due to COVID, George Blaha and Gregory Keltzer are doing the game from the Bally Sports Detroit studios in Southfield. They don't travel with the team due to COVID, so, well, there you go. Okay, from the hardwood, synthetically hard ice. It's time to go to the NHL scoreboard. And, wow. This is, well, well, I'm just going to say it. This is. Right now, we're starting we'll just wait for an update here. One game, one late game, that is the Vancouver Canucks and the Winnipeg Jets. 13:50 left to play in regulation. And the Canucks are handing the Jets their tookuses on a silver ladder. 3-1's the score. Let's go for some finals. In a shootout, Buffalo Sabres over the New Jersey Devils, 4-3. Philadelphia Flyers over the New York Islanders in overtime, 3-2. Another overtime banner win, the Washington Capitals over the Boston Bruins, 4-3. Another overtimer, Pittsburgh Penguins, New York Rangers, 5-4. Penguins over the Rangers. Carolina Hurricanes demolished the Dallas Stars, 4-1. In overtime, the Florida Panthers embarrassed the Detroit Red Wings, 3-2. Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Nashville Predators 4-3. Following overtime, Edmonton Oilers over the Toronto Maple Leafs 4-3. Flames over the Canadiens 2-0. Avalanche over the Wild 5-1. And Blues over the Ducks 6-1. And that's that for that. No Molson 3 stars to report. Tomorrow they should be out, and if they are, we will tell you to go to CBSSports.com for the 3 stars. We are hopelessly or helplessly getting near end of time. Okay, so we did that. Of course, the AHL and other little teams don't play yet. So, well, therein lies the tale. And we've had detail. Now let's see some more detail. As we do a little check on the... Oh, boy. Not a lot going on in the media world. New Tennessee AD Danny White goes on Twitter to reply to Stephen Godfrey's leak investigation report, says he didn't launch it. Wow. The Athletic's description of an NHL television boom feels premature as ratings up only works in an opening game focus. Let's explain in detail, folk. Courtesy of Awful Announcing. There are several key things to consider with rating stories, including who's providing the ratings numbers, what those numbers are being compared to, and what other context is out there. Well, the Athletic's NHL TV ratings up as push to engage fans outside rinks breaks from tradition. Story by Sean Shapiro that was published Friday is missing a fair bit of important context. The piece is about the NHL television boom, but it cites a grand total of 2 national U.S. TV games, 1 Canadian national game, and HL.TV numbers, not specified, but doubled. And season ratings so far on one regional sports network, Fox Sports Midwest, soon to be Bally Sports Midwest, with all those numbers provided by league sources. But while ratings up is technically true, there's a lot more context to be found in a fuller look at the publicly available ratings. And that can be done without relying on any league sources, and that's especially important when it comes to national games on NBC and the soon-to-be shut down NBCSN. And their ratings this year are quite important, with this being the last year of the NHL on NBC TV contract. Now, to start with, some key parts of Shapiro's piece on the national TV picture, which has got us somewhat concerned. Quote, but according to league officials who spoke to The Athletic on Thursday, the league is making the most of other platforms and digital connections with fans early in this truncated 2020-2021 season. For starters, on a national level, TV viewership is up for the league as NBC has seen a quick uptick in viewership on both NBC and NBC Sports. The opening night game between the Pittsburgh Penguins and Philadelphia Flyers was the most watched game in NBCSN network history, drawing almost 1 million viewers, 972,000 to be exact. The Penguins game against Washington Capitals, January 17th, on NBC drew 1.727 million viewers, making it the most watched non-outdoor regular season game in 3 years, end quotation. Now that's the entirety of the U.S. national TV data presented in the piece, where Shapiro later goes on to describe a quote-unquote television boom. Now, while there are elevated ratings compared to some past seasons, the picture gets a lot more nuanced when you consider all the national TV ratings so far. That brings up huge questions about there is actually a television boom. And all those ratings are publicly available through Mitch Metcalf's excellent Sked-Ball weekly roundups at Showbuzz Daily, and for this week, his daily ratings post. A chart with that information with NBC-only data in gold and NBCSN, both networks somewhat in light blue. And, well, you folks can go to Awful Announcing and see that. The idea of NHL ratings being up so far this season is not wrong, especially when compared to the entire 2019-2020 regular season before its suspension and later post-resumption. Qualifying round, which drew better ratings, but ratings still below the start. And the ratings for those two specific games are indeed quite good. But it's far better to have a ratings up story with 13 national points available so far than to have one that only cites 2 of the specific points. And a key thing to keep in mind here is that only about the first few weeks of the season, early weeks of any season, and late weeks tend to do much better than the doldrums in the middle. Along with that front, one particular filter here, NBCSN without an opening night, it's actually below the 2019-2020 regular season NBCSN average, pulling in 282,500 viewers versus 309,000. A huge asterisk with that. Keep in mind that the pre-postponement 2019-2020 season wasn't great for the NHL on NBC's SN numbers. It was above 2017-2018, but below 2018-2019. And part of that was that the last part of the season and its playoff race moments didn't happen. This season could have that with a normal run-up to the playoffs, and that could make the average audience projection come in on the low side. But if the 2021 season actually did wind up coming in below 2019-2020, that would be underwhelming indeed. And that, friends, is our report from awfulannouncing.com. Okay, a little plug. Tomorrow on Last Call Cafe on Spreaker and Spreaker.com and other podcast platforms. It is our annual, well, we renamed it because somebody took our original name, which was the Superb Owl, made it their own. So we had to come up with a new name. So since Last Call Cafe cannot use certain terminology for a big game in football, we just invented a new thing. It is called the Supper Bowl. That's right, the Supper Bowl. We're going to be doing a Supper Bowl edition of the Last Call Cafe tomorrow night. We go live to tape at 11 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker.com. And then immediately following that, we have Wrestle Anime Hut with the Brain and the Baxman talking about anime, wrestling, and entertainment. Three things that taste great together. And I'm going to get out of here. Ooh. Okay, thank you. All right, folks, before we hit the scoreboard and get you everything from baseball to other stuff, let's do what we do best. Not show off, that's right. But what we do best is simple. It's time for some shouts. Mandy Summers, how you doing? Peter Gilmore, how you been? All my Fizz Giggity, how's everything? All my friends of Comic Skate and beyond, how y'all doing? All right, it is indeed that time again for when we say hello to our large kin. Angela Peterson, Christina Peterson, Yuki Tanaka, Emery Man, Jay the Brain Man, Matthew Nichols, Jerry Nichols, Nancy Nichols, Brian Mann, Jimmy Jam, Yvonne Marie, Brenda Gominski, my mom Sharon, my cat Uno, Heather Chantel Van Horn, Alan Oberoff, Ricky Pickrell, Brenda Dixon, Anthony Pickrell, Michael Pickrell, Bobby Langford, Sammy Phillips, Matthew, I've already mentioned the Nichols family. This is very much wild. So let's conclude our little nicety with the scoreboard. And believe it or not, I'm walking on air. All right, let's get to the scoreboard and then we'll get ourselves out of here and into a dry martini. No, actually, from here we'll nod off into Betty Bye. So as soon as that thing pops up with some scores, and let's get to it here. Time check in on soccer. Let's go with the English Premier Premier League from England. Newcastle 2, Everton 0, Crystal Palace 1, Wolverhampton Wolves 0, Manchester City 1, Sheffield United 0, West Brom and Fulham tied at 2. Arsenal and Manchester City didn't even get a wink. They ended in a goose egg tie. Aston Villa and Southampton 1-0. Aston Villa wins. Yep. In the German Bundesliga, Bayern Munich over Hoffenheim 4-1. Dortmund, a 3-1 winner over Augsburg. Eintracht Frankfurt, a 3-1 winner over Hertha Berlin. Union Berlin and Mönchengladbach equaled 1-1. Game ended. Werder Bremen and Schalke ended also in a 1-1 tie. Leipzig and Bayern Leverkusen. Leipzig won 1-0. In Italy, in Series A, was AC Milan over Bologna 2-1. Juventus over Sampdoria 2-0. And Inter and Benevento 4-0. In the La Liga section, let's go to it. Seville over Eibar 2-0. Levante over Real Madrid 2-1. Valencia 1-0 winner over Elche. And Villarreal and Real Sociedad ended in a 1-1 stalemate. Whew. All right. Let's get to basketball, shall we? League A, Virtus Bologna 88-75 over Cremona. Juventud Badalona an 80-75 winner over Fuenlabrada. Obradoiro over Bilbao 80-72. Tenerife over Morabank Andorra 89-83. Swedish hockey, Frölunda beat Brynäs 7-3. And after overtime couldn't save it, they went for penalties. Leksand wins it over Djurgårdens 3-2. Linköping's a 6-3 winner over Malmo. Skellefteå over Rögle 2-0. After penalties, it was Farjasad BK 4, Orbro 3. Luleå 4, HV 71 3. Vago over the Oxramen 4-3. Actually, Oxram over Vaxio 4-3. There we go. We got everything right. In Czech Republic hockey, it was Litvinov 4, Kometa Brno 3, and that is all she wrote for that. And speaking of which, that is going to wrap it up for us here on a Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget our Super Bowl coverage tomorrow night, 11 o'clock. We go live to tape on Spreaker.com. We got comedy. We got tragedy. We got a lot of stuff to tell you tomorrow. The General is going to be giving us the Insidious Belch of the month again and everything else you need to know in this weird world that we're in. I am Steve the Baxman Baxley, and I will see you tomorrow night at midnight Eastern Time, right after we wrap things up in on Spreaker with the L2C, the Last Call Cafe, and Wrestle Anime Hut. That'll be at midnight Eastern right here on YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for watching. For everyone connected to this varied program, I am Steve the Baxman Baxley. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk to you tomorrow night, midnight Eastern. Until then, blessings to all, and to all a good night.